Welcome to Reframed. I'm your host, Brooklyn Grady. Let's reframe your approach to business and life together. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to Reframed. I have a really special guest with us today that I cannot wait for you guys to hear. I have worked with Alisha on and off for about 2 years now, and she's an incredible photographer. She came into my world and coached with me a little bit, and I have her here today to talk all about her coaching experience and what she's up to now. So I would like to welcome Alisha Schindler. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, me too. I'm so glad you agreed to come and chat. Just on a personal note too, I just am excited to catch up. So if we get off base a little bit on this recording, it's because we're also friends and we still have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
But first, can you tell the listeners where you're from and like the name of your business and what you do?
Yeah, so I am from a small town in Minnesota, and Dawson, Minnesota. We're known as Gnometown, USA.
No way. I didn't know that.
Yeah. We have a bunch of tiny little gnomes as you drive through our town that are actually replicas of someone that made a difference in the community. So each little gnome has its own little story. It's pretty neat.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's neat. So I live on a little acreage just 2 miles outside of town with my husband, our 4 kids, and many animals.
A whole funny farm.
It is. Oh, yeah, exactly. That's kind of our given name due to events. But yeah, if you're driving by and driving through and happen to stumble upon our acreage, it is entertaining at any given minute of the day. There's always something going on. So my name of my business is Alisha Schindler Photography. I've owned and operated that business now for about 12 years. I thoroughly love creating these images for my clients and moments and memories. And it's just always been a passion of mine.
Love that. Ever since I've started working with you, I've always noticed your passion that comes through for your people that you serve and then also for the art of photography. And that's like, not everybody has that. And so I think it's really rare to find and also kind of essential to make your photography business last, because if you don't have passion for it, you're going to fizzle out. So I think you definitely have that. And talk to me, do you have a studio space or what kind of sessions do you like to shoot?
Right. So currently I operate a studio out of a portion of my home, I use an old living room space out of my house. And it served me well, but we're busting at the seams. So there's new stuff in the works to mend that a little bit.
Cool.
So I shoot and photograph basically everything from newborns to business marketing. And everything in between, weddings, seniors, milestones, you name it. But the core part to my business and what really got me going in photography is milestones and families.
Awesome.
Becoming a mom myself, I didn't want to miss a single moment, and I wanted to be able to relive them over and over and over again. Yeah. And I think that's the root of my passion.
That's so relatable. I've talked to so many photographers too that have started photography in the beginning. It was because they were parents and they had kids and they wanted to capture all those memories. And then the passion kind of turned into more and friends started asking to photograph them. And I even know for myself when we moved back here to where I grew up, I had a lot of friends starting to ask like, hey, would you want to photograph my wedding? Or, and so being in a community where you grow up, which you're from that area as well, right?
Yeah. So originally I'm from Lake Benton, which is an hour south of here.
Okay.
So it's close enough, but at the same time, there's a big enough distance where people didn't necessarily know. Many of us from, went to high school there. We played each other in sports.
Okay.
Where we live now, we played against them in high school. So there's been some that are like, I think I remember you guys.
Hey, you're kind of familiar.
Yeah. So it's been from one tight-knit, awesome community to another.
Awesome. Love that. Well, I would love to hear a little bit about your experience in my coaching program, working with me. And please be honest, You don't have to sugarcoat anything, but I would just really love to hear more your thoughts. And so we'll start just talking about like, what were your struggles that you had before joining my coaching program?
Okay. So a big part of, I feel like it's always been a constant iron out of wrinkles through the process of owning my business. And I think a big part of that is just always wanting to better yourself for your clients, and just improving yourself. I mean, what good do we do if we can't continue to improve ourselves and be better than the person we were yesterday? For me, I've always wanted to start introducing products to my clients, printable products, but really wanted to find a unique way to go about that. And it was something that I, in the earlier stages of my business, wanted nothing to do with, to be
relatable.
Yeah. It was
thank you.
Right where it's like, no, thank you. I have enough on my plate trying to build this business, and I can't imagine adding products in as well.
Yeah.
But then I feel like midway through the shift in my business, I realized that, I do want my clients to walk away with, obviously they're walking away with timeless memories, but I wanted to introduce products that they were excited about and made them feel a certain way, that they wanted to invest in and have good, solid items that they can pass down for generations to come.
I love that.
And after this being so late in my business, or not, a few years down the road, I didn't really know the right approach to take to implement it without completely turning my process upside down, because I felt my business was working really well the way I was running it. And I didn't want to derail. I didn't want it to be a stressful thing.
Have to start over completely from zero.
Yeah. Right. And I want it to be a smooth transition too for my clients, because I didn't want it to be clunky. I didn't want it to be not well thought out. And so stumbling upon your coaching, I was like, well, this is perfect. She's lived it. She's done it. I'm busy.
Right.
This is like the perfect avenue. I don't have time for trial and error and what's going to work at this point in my business. Right. And so to me, it was the perfect solution to look into.
Step into that. Awesome. Well, okay. I obviously loved having you in my program. And also, side note, I get to see you in November, which I'm very excited about too.
I'm at a retreat.
Which we can talk about later. But back to coaching, what is something that you learned from coaching together?
So the biggest thing that I feel was a takeaway for me from your coaching experience was more so like probably a deeper thing than even the coaching itself. Confidence. I know that sounds completely off the wall, but in what we do, there's always so much of like, are they doing it better? Why do I feel like I'm not doing things as well as that person? Or is what I have to offer really not as great as I thought it was? So honestly, I gained a lot of those perspectives from you. And being able to see your business and how it's ran, like I'm sitting right at a desk with you, was beyond valuable to me. I always love seeing other people, how they run their business. So from, your the startup with your client and to the delivering of the products, and then everything in between, the systems you use. I felt like there was no page unturned when it came to your business marketing that we went through and everything, and the people you brought in, like the mindset. I can't see another coach that's ever brought that to the table. And I think with what we do, it's huge. So huge.
Plus with transitioning into products, like there's so much of that's mindset, because we've heard the stories of nobody wants products, or like the economy is bad, or everyone just wants digitals. And those are the stories we've told ourselves for so many years too. And so that becomes our truth. And until you can get in the room with other people that are doing it successfully, or can steer you in a direction like, I've been there. I've had those thoughts myself, or I've had clients tell me it's too expensive or don't see the value in it. So I think where you're coming from is such a common feeling. And I know it was for me too. So I love to hear that you built confidence through the course. Like, if anything, I would love for everyone to leave coaching feeling more confident in what they're doing. And absolutely being an open book. Like, that's my approach to all things. And even personality wise, like, I feel like how we've clicked, it's really valuable when you're looking for a coach, even from my perspective, when I go to hire coaches, to make sure that the person you're hiring is a really good fit for you on a personal level. Because I think you take away so much more and you're able to learn more when you click with them, or like having kids, right? You said you had a busy life and how valuable that was. And even for me, giving advice to you or seeing loopholes or things we could improve, like I understood what your life was too, because I was living it with managing schedules and also a hubby that's a farmer, and like yours being busy with fall season. Like, there's so many different things going on and balls you're juggling at the same time. And so being able to relate on all those things I think was really helpful.
I agree.
Awesome. And on the note of being in a group with other women, what was your opinion of being in a coaching container with other photographers? Did you find that helpful? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, to me, it was super helpful. I think that I was probably the unique one in the group, maybe not as, a little bit later in my career or my business or building it than the others. But even with that being said, there was still so much that I could take away from being in a group with other photographers. That's one thing that I didn't really, in my earlier years, I never invested in coaching, mentorships, nothing. And if I knew now what I did, if I knew now what I did then, or, vice versa. No,
you're right.
Now, if I could be me then, I would slap myself and be like, do it. Just do it.
Yes.
Because you're getting an amazing coaching experience and, everything's listed of everything you offer, but then yet there's so much more that's unpacked naturally through being in a program with like-minded individuals that are in the same realm that you are and doing the same things you're doing, processing programs that work for them or didn't work for them, or they have or haven't used. And so, to me, I love it. I love being in a community with people that do the same thing I do, and especially learning alongside them. We always have something to learn from each other, I think.
Absolutely. And being at different stages slightly too, like all looking to add products and increase your prices and build more clientele, but also like at different levels. And so, like you said, there's always something to learn. The newer ones can learn from you, from your experience. You can learn from them, from what they're trying and doing. And it's a really collaborative effort. And I love that too in my coaching containers I'm in, of being in the room with other women that are doing things in the same world, but are doing them differently. And so you can see what's working and what's not. So I'm glad to hear that that's a helpful part of being in a coaching container too.
Definitely.
Was there anything that you felt like you got clarity on or discovered a passion for during our coaching together?
Yeah. And also in a really unique way. I feel like for me, it was,
besides the confidence, because you did gain that. You mentioned like that being a takeaway.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely the confidence. But in addition to that, probably this opening up myself to providing other services that I had closed the door on years before, along with products.
Yeah.
And having the avenues that, like for example, we, in the middle of my coaching with you, I know we had talked about this. I called you and I'm like, random idea, want to throw this by you. I had a request to go photograph an old family home for someone that they had grew up there and many memories, and everything was just left as is. It was her parents' home. She had to take her mom to the hospital, and then mom didn't end up coming home. She passed away in the hospital. So it's a very sad deal. Very close family friends of ours, but her daughters had reached out to me and asked me to go and take pictures so that if the event that the house would no longer be in their possession, their mom always still had those core memories of the house. So I was like, absolutely. And then driving there, I was like, well, wait a minute. This happens all the time. And things like that. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to run this by Brooklyn and see if she thinks if I'm absolutely crazy or if this is kind of something that would be an offering. So there's things that naturally happened. And through that, when it kind of goes hand in hand with the products and wanting to introduce those, my mind got to spinning and I was like, well, what if we took these images and we print them and put them in this handcrafted leather tied together journal where she can have these pictures and then she can write some of her favorite memories that happened there, or this was Dad's favorite chair. This is where I always played with my sister. Things like that. I feel like that's kind of opened some avenues that I would have never put hand in hand before. Before I'd been like, yeah, I'll come take the pictures. Here's you go.
Your pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. But through coaching, I was like, oh, but wait, I'll take your pictures. And there is this amazing idea that I have. And we can, and then having those avenues to be able to look up to find exactly the product that's in my mind.
Yes.
I think that's a big takeaway.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I remember when you reached out about that too, and you were Voxering me, and I could feel your energy because you were so excited about it. And even hearing you talk about it now, I can hear your energy again of like the excitement of being able to give these clients something of value that they're going to have forever. And this is something that we do in all my coaching containers as far as talking about value, because we're always explaining to clients like how valuable this is. And it's not just a sales pitch or an item on a checklist to talk about. Like, it really has so much weight and so much value to clients. So to hear you talk about it in that way and be so excited about it. And that's how I feel too about my products and being able to go hang up this like life-size print for a client on a wall and they get to look at it every single day. It's of their young family. I just got done with a family of 4 and they just got a puppy. And we did some photos with this new little puppy and the kids were loving on the dog and it was just so cute. And it's like that moment of time, like this dog is going to grow with their family, hopefully for the rest of their kids, childhood. And then to have this to remember and for you to have like something so special as a family home and something tragic happens and to be able to remember these special moments and to present it in a way that's really meaningful and fitting for the photos too, right? Like you're talking about this like handcrafted leather album tied together and how fitting that is. And even think of the connection you put between those images and the type of product that you would offer them. And how seamless that was for you. Like, you didn't just think if this was you 5 years ago and you were thinking, like, what product should I offer them? Like, where do you start? Is it like a Shutterfly album? Like, no, that wouldn't be fitting. Or, is it a clean white framed image? Probably not, because that's not going to lend to the photos. So even the knowledge you have now to be able to naturally say, yeah, I know what to pair together and this is going to be perfect and the clients are going to love it and it's going to fit with images. So I think your growth even it's so evident now, and maybe it doesn't seem that way, but me hearing you speak, like it just seems so like, yeah, I know what I want to offer and I want to, like, it's really cool to see that growth in you. So finally, what would you say to a photographer who is considering investing in coaching? Which you kind of touched on earlier, because you're like, if I could go back
do it. Just do it. Yes. So there's always so much more value than what's at the forefront.
Yeah.
Do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
I love that. I feel the same way too, looking back at coaching and the right coach. Like I've also been burned. So like it's a double-edged sword, but just make sure it's the right fit for you. But if you're thinking about it too. Finally, where can people find you? Where are you hanging out at?
Yes. So you can find me on Facebook, Alisha Schindler Photography, and also on Instagram at @ASchindlerPhoto. And then my website is www.aschindlerphoto.com. And that's ASCHINDLER photo.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being a guest today and sharing all this with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely.